And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at an expansion for Catacombs called Keystones and Keeps. Actually, this is an expansion for Catacombs or Castles and Catacombs, so you can use it for both of them, which I really like. So the Catacombs game is a dungeon crawl with flicking, and Catacombs and Castles and Catacombs, or Catacombs and Castles is a player versus player game where you're flicking and attacking each other. I like both games. I've kept both games. Yay, something that can be used for both of them. Here's what's in the box. Okay, so we have some boards here, or a board that can be added to either Catacombs or can be added to Catacombs and Castles. You can see it's actually made more specifically, it looks like Catacombs versus Castles, but you can play for either one. Now, what you have here is you have some rune locations. Sometimes those will be where a character is placed, but for the most part, the main thing about this board is that there's a pit in it, and if you fall into the pit, you're going to be in trouble. Now, the way that you go into pits, first of all, you decide what kind of pit they are. We have these sheets that can go underneath them, and they look pretty cool. See how that works? And when someone falls into a pit, usually a normal pit, they just take a point of damage and have to go back to the starting zone, although it depends what kind of creature they are. And this matters more for Catacombs than it does for Catacombs versus Castles, but the different pits can do various things. For example, this one only works in Catacombs, and you can have a zombie pit. All right, and that's where you can be spawning zombies from. The bad guy can. You have a teleportation pit. And by the way, you have two of each pit in case you want to use the same one twice. The teleportation one just sends you to where one of the runes are. You have vines. Vines are going to keep you all tangled up. When you land in a voracious vine ones, you don't take any damage, but you're trapped, and your teammates are going to have to use a grapple shot to pull you out of there. We also have the alien, whatever this is, some alien thingamabobber, which can be there. And what is it? Alien crystal. When you land there, you can basically, you hover above it. You don't take any damage, and then you can go to one of the corners, a start zone, one of the rune locations, and then you get a range shot that the aliens are giving you. It's kind of a weird one, frankly. And then the last one is on the back of one of these. These are all double-sided. And there is thin ice, which you can have there. And everyone has to make a movement at the end of their turn. And if two thin ice are in play, everyone has to do two at the end of their turn. It's to give you the idea that you are spinning over the ice. So again, this is the main focus of this expansion, this board and the pits, but there's also a few new characters and cards. So these are new things that can only be used in Catacombs, the items and spells. I'm glad they brought the launch egg where you can basically shoot something and hatch a guard out of it, the vortex. So the key sword is really cool. That move twice and shoot twice, I really like that. That's a cool thing. And of course, it's very expensive because it cost 10. And then there's also a whole pile of monsters. These are kind of skeletal monsters. They're not actually called skeletons, and they just have different special abilities. The senior occultist here has the ability to drop an egg in, and you have the different discs that come with these, of course. Then there's heroes, and again, remember you can use the different heroes. There's a werebear, which is a cool type of hero to have. I always like having a werebear. I'm actually really happy with both of these. Victoria, the Baroness, and her counterpart, the April, the Flame Mage. Both of these are neat because they do something every turn. So each turn, it's move and shoot a ice, then move and shoot a vortex, then move and shoot a net, then move and shoot an egg. And it's kind of a mix. The only difference is one's using flame and one's using ice. But that's some cool special abilities. Quarlock actually needs some very specific things here. He has a living shield, and he doesn't use armor tokens, can't use his ability card directly. He's just a big, nasty thing, and has a chance to move around. He's also bigger than everybody else. Speaking of being bigger than everyone else, we have Malachi, who has two cards, the regular person and the werewolf. So he can switch back and forth on his disc and has different types of attacks based on who he is. Then there's also the dark elf and the Barbarian, Zorak the Barbarian, and then Salivus or Salivi. When he's damaged, he can do an attack, a ranged attack against his assailant. That's pretty cool. I like anyone who has retaliation. And again, discs for all these people are included. So this is just an expansion with some more discs and a board with pits. Not much to talk about here. All the pieces are good quality, the same as the rest of the other one. The box itself, I'm not a big fan of these boxes to slide things in, but I'm not going to keep the box. I'm just going to put everything in the base game anyway. So if you use this for Catacombs, more stuff, yay. I don't know that I would buy this just for Catacombs. It has more stuff, more cards, not many. It does have this map, which you could use as a level, which would be very different, but it has the pits, so that's cool too. And, okay, I withdraw that. Maybe I would get this for Catacombs just because it's a nice change of pace. Hey, this level is not with obstacles. This level, there's pits, and you can pick which kind of pits you want as a bad guy. For Catacombs and Castles, this is great. At first I was like, man, I wish the board was double-sided, but I realized when you put different pits in, it's as if the board was double-sided. And the pits all have different things. I think I like the tangling vine ones the best because you get in there and someone has to use a grappling hook shot to pull you out of there. Everyone gets a free grappling hook shot to do that sort of thing, but it takes time to pull you out. I like that one. Or just the one where you fall and lose a hit point. That's a cool concept. And so this is not some big major expansion. It adds some pits and some more heroes. And of course, if you play Catacombs and Castles, this gives you a lot more heroes that you can use with that game. And if you play Catacombs, you have more heroes, more monsters, more stuff, and a way to shake things up. It's cool when an expansion can be used for two very different games, but you don't feel like you're really missing out on the content, and this game does that. I like it. Dice Tower Judgment, approved!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!